Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are so.
Last night, the Braves' bats erupted for 10 hits and 5 runs, while the back end of the bullpen saved a Cincinnati surge. Tonight, David Hale makes his way to the mound opposite Reds righty Mike Leake. It's Saturday Night Baseball on Fox Sports South. The Reds and the Braves tangle next. We welcome you to Turner Field in Atlanta, Georgia for Game 2 of our big 3-game series with the Cincinnati Reds. And all year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. A 1-run win for the Braves last night. They held on and beat the Reds by a final of 5-4. A win tonight guarantees Atlanta a 7th series win this year. And hi again, friends. Joe and Chip back with you at the ballpark. Great way to get the weekend started last night. And another fun pitching matchup this evening. David Hale for the Braves and one of the Reds' best, Mike Leake, who jumped all the way from college ball to the big leagues, and he had a big year last year.
Yeah, he's only pitched 2 games in the minor leagues his whole career. Made the jump from Arizona State as a first-round pick back in 2009. This guy's a tremendous athlete. 5'10", 200-pounder, but he can pitch, he can field his position, and boy, can he hit. This guy can do a lot of things to help himself win a ball game. He's very good. These are his numbers since the 2013 season, his last 35 starts. Outstanding numbers, and his last start against the Pirates should have gotten a win, but the bullpen blew it for him late.
Should have gotten a win is one way to describe David Hale's last outing for the Braves.
Absolutely. In New York, had a chance for the W, got a ground ball when he needed a double play, but the infield was not able to make the play, and it cost him a decision. He just needs some better luck. Check it out. He's got great numbers in 5 starts in the big leagues, a 2.05 ERA. He's looking for his first win this year, and maybe with a little luck he can get it. Tonight is Military Appreciation Night, and maybe David Hale can fire some rockets by the Reds.
And one of them was hit by Justin Upton in the first inning last night. He's been a Turner Field terror, and when we come back, Jen will break that down for us as we get you set for the Braves and Reds Game 2 tonight.
Braves host the Reds in the second of a three-game series here at Turner Field. Hi everybody, I'm Jen Hildreth, and the Braves have been pretty good here at home this season. 3-1 on this homestand, 7-3 overall at home, and one guy in particular who you're going to want to keep an eye on, Justin Upton. He is the focus of our Yellowwood brand, bringing the lumber. Why? Because he's been cracking them out of the park. Justin leads the team with 6 home runs, and he's doing a lot of his damage here, giving some Braves fans a chance to go home with a souvenir if you're sitting in the outfield seats. If you look at Justin's numbers in the 10 home games this season, he's hitting .441. Remember, I said he had 6 home runs. Well, 5 of those coming here at home in Turner Field, 11 RBI and 9 runs. And Justin helped those numbers and his team out last night with a 3-run shot in the first. He does like to strike early, so you best stick around. He and the Braves will be coming up shortly. David Hale set to take the mound for the Braves as they take on the Reds. Coming up next.
Home Depot.
Love the star-spangled uniforms the Braves are sporting tonight for Military Family Night here at Turner Field. A great and very touching on-field ceremony that I hope you enjoyed during Braves Live. And David Hale takes them out on this very special night, looking for his first victory of the season for the Braves. And they'll face the 11-12 Cincinnati Reds tonight. Their Toyota starting 9 looks a little different with injury. Devin Mesoraco put on the disabled list. That means Brian Pena gets the start behind the plate. And no Todd Frazier. He had to leave the game with a sore groin last evening. That means Neftali Soto makes his first major league start tonight at the hot corner for the Reds.
David Hale makes his 4th start of the year. Great numbers in his career when he's had guys on base. Base is empty, maybe a little different story, trying to throw strikes, but with runners on base in his career, how about an .054 average with runners in scoring position and an OFER with 2 out in runners in scoring position. First appearance ever against the Cincinnati Reds. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight, as we keep saying, this guy deserves a little better luck, a little better defense behind him, and maybe a key hit here and there that helps put him up on top early. And number 2, quicker innings. He did throw over 100 pitches in his 6-inning stint against the Mets the last time out. 90 pitches the outing before that in 4 innings against the Mets. So tonight, maybe pitching to contact a little earlier in at bats for guys will get him a little deeper in the game too.
And here is the Atlanta defense. Great story on ESPN about the Braves defensive lineup. The Braves have 20 defensive runs saved so far this year. That's the most in Major League Baseball. 19 of them by the Braves outfield, 10 by Jason Hayward alone in right field. That's pretty impressive. Johnson, Simmons, Uggla, and Freeman around the horn from third to first on the infield. And Evan Gattis, of course, is behind the plate. Love the uniform.
Me too. It's outstanding.
The Braves were winners last night. Took a little longer than we thought it might, what with the instant replay check of the final out, but the call was confirmed by Vic Carapazza over at first base as Joey Votto grounded out to end the game and preserve a 5-4 Braves victory.
This guy Hamilton swung at the first pitch 3 times last night.
And he was 1 for 4 with an RBI. The Braves pinch at the corners for him. And Hamilton, sure enough, takes a called strike. 79 degrees in Atlanta at first pitch. Billy Hamilton hitting .231 for the year. And he grounds to second again. That'll be the third ground out, handled by Dan Uggla off the bat of Hamilton in the series. And always a good idea to keep the speedster off the base paths to start the game. 1 out. Here's Joey Votto, the Reds' first baseman. Cincinnati had a great chance to score in the first inning last night. Votto doubled, Phillips singled, and then Jay Bruce hit into a 9-2 double play with Hayward throwing out Votto at the plate. And that, as you said before the game, really seemed to sap some of the Reds' momentum.
I was talking to Jason about that before the game, about how it's unusual for momentum to shift like that in the first inning of a ball game, and how important that run saved was to the outcome of the ball game. But it occurred in the first inning, top half of the first.
2-0 for Joey Votto, who takes a strike.
Fastball, curveball, changeup for David Hale. 9 walks in his 15 innings. He'd like to get a little better command working too.
Bent around the plates, and Votto now way ahead in the count. Votto is not afraid to take a walk. He's already been issued 19 bases on balls this year. Swinging for the downs on that pitch and missed it. Full count.
Like he almost hurt himself. His front foot kind of skidded right there on the follow through, and it may have irritated his knee a little bit.
To the right side, Freeman's got that. Votto down the line in pretty good shape, but out number 2. Good to see Hale's sinker working early. 2 ground ball outs. And here's Brandon Phillips. Stone Mountain resident, had a couple of hits, scored one of the Reds' runs last night. And he added 10 points to his average with a 2-for-4 game. And high and away, ball 1. Phillips was a 100 RBI man last year. Not nearly as productive to start this season for the Reds. Game number 24 for Cincinnati. Phillips has knocked in just 4. And out of play, foul to even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Reds start play tonight, already 6 games behind Milwaukee in the National League Central. Brewers off to a flying start at 17-6. It's the best record in baseball. And now Phillips down to his last strike in the opening inning. Only 6 men in the National League had triple digits in the RBI column. Phillips was one of them with 103.
That goes solid right off the arm of Evan Gattis. Forearm.
Well, get a third strike and just roll the ball back to the mound. Don't have to worry about it. If Phillips obliges here with a 2-2 count, base is empty. A comebacker made Hale skip the rope on the mound. So Brandon Phillips with the first hit of the night, and that'll bring up Jay Bruce.
Brandon Phillips got some good pitches to hit in this sequence, and that one was right down the middle, belt high. Not at all where David Hale wanted that pitch. But it's only a 2-out single.
Jay Bruce is 1 RBI away from 500 for his career. Number 499 came in the 6th inning last night. He drove home the first of the 4 Cincinnati runs. Have to keep an eye on almost every single one of these Reds base runners. That's one of Brian Price's goals for this Cincinnati team. They want to run. Reds have stolen 25 bases collectively. And that's high, ball 2. That's belt high and taken for a called strike.
Boy, remember the Bruce mania that took over Cincinnati a few years ago when he first got called up, and he was making a mid-season bid for Rookie of the Year. He was just tearing it up. Nobody could get him out.
Bruce Almighty, they were calling him that year for the Reds. Yeah. And he takes ball 4 low, so Hale having some 2-out trouble. A hit, now a walk, brings up Ryan Ludwig. I think if there's anything surprising about David Hale, it's the number of walks he's issued as a starter. That's his 10th in just 16 innings.
Just causes more pitches. You know, when you're averaging close to 20 pitches an inning, 20 pitches is usually considered a high number, and that you're in trouble and trying to get out of it somehow. And that's been the case for him a lot. To his credit, he's been able to pitch out of it, as his ERA would attest, but seems to always be walking that fine line.
But when you hold the opposition, as you saw and mentioned graphically, to 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, you have yourself some pretty good luck. Let's see if Upton can track this one down. He can't. It's off the fence. 1 run scores. The Braves get the relay in very quickly. And Ryan Ludwig just missed a 3-run homer. Instead, he doubles. That scores Phillips, and it's 1-0 Reds.
And there's the first hit with a runner in scoring position in his career. Fastball, inner third. Fortunate it stayed in the ballpark, and a quick relay here to Andrelton. Everybody knows if you can get the ball to Andrelton, you got a shot at anyone at the plate. And wisely, the Reds held Jay Bruce at third base.
That's been a knock on the Reds. We talked about their desire to be aggressive on the base paths. As Pena bounces to second, Uncla's got that and throw to first. The Reds have had 8 men thrown out at the plate this year. No trouble for them in the first. They score the game's first run. And the Reds lead 1-0 after a half inning. Here's the Braves Toyota starting 9. Jason Hayward's getting hot at the top of the order. He's got a 6-game hit streak. Justin Upton, as Jen told you, is really enjoying the home cooking. He's the Braves cleanup hitter. And the Braves may have to find a way to out-hit not just the starting 8 for the Reds, but their starter Mike Leake as well tonight.
Absolutely. 5'10", 190, 26 years old. Born in San Diego, went to Arizona State. You see his career. Now look at the ERAs and the opponent's batting average. I mean, you can almost tell right away that pitching at Great American Ballpark is going to add a full run to your ERA over the course of your career. Better marks on the road.
That's cute off the bat of Jason Hayward.
He was their #1 pick back in 2009. His 4 keys tonight. He's an excellent athlete, feels his position, makes good pitches, throws hard, and he's quite possibly the best hitting pitcher in all of baseball. '87-93 with his fastball. Throws a cutter off of it as well. Curveball, changeup, slider.
And he just struck out Jason Hayward on 3 pitches. There's out #1. From the 21st player in baseball to be drafted and go straight to the big leagues from college since 1965. The Braves had one of those players from Arizona State, you might recall, Bob Horner.
Doesn't happen too often these days.
Little tapper off the pitcher's glove, and that'll be a break. Upton's at first, and let's see how that's scored.
I just talked about what a great athlete he is and what an excellent fielder he is as well. That was a good way to jinx him. Kind of like we jinxed David Hale in the first inning.
That's a milestone hit for B.J. Upton, number 1,000 in his big league career. So B.J. can run. He's at first for Freddie Freeman, who picked up his 10th multi-hit game of the year last night. 3 singles. He scored twice. And a good cut, but foul back. So, Jen, a milestone tonight for the Braves center fielder.
Yeah, and I asked BJ about that before the game, if that was going to be special for him when he got that. And he said, yeah, it will. And then he paused and said, I just wish it hadn't taken me so long to get there. Better late than never.
One ball, one strike. Infield hits for Upton in each of the first 2 games of this series. And now Freeman with the 5th highest batting average in the league. A chance to chase him around and tie this game in the first. Mentioned 79 degrees at first pitch. There is a breeze tonight, and it is blowing straight out towards center. It's not a gale-like breeze, but the wind is blowing out. Upton's running, and Freeman sprays it off the screen behind the plate. 2-2.
Like BJ got a good jump too. And not a bad idea to test Brian Pena right away. The Reds had to place Devin Mesoraca on the disabled list after he pulled a hamstring last night, rounding third, and called up a young catcher named Barnhart to take his place.
Not going. And Freeman hits one a mile high toward right center field. Hamilton back on the warning track. Oh! Can't get it! It's gone. A 2-run homer.
Batting practice today, Freddie Freeman was hitting some pop bottle rockets like that all over the ballpark. Real high, majestic fly balls that looked like, okay, well, that's an out. That's going to stay in the yard. But they didn't. They kept carrying out. And boy, did he go up and get a high pitch there.
Atlanta got a 3-run homer in the first last night. They get a 2-run blast from Freddie Freeman tonight and lead 2-1. And a swing and a miss for Justin Upton. Freeman's caught him in the home run column. Each of those men have 6. Upton with 15 runs batted in. Line drive into center field by Upton on an 0-2 pitch. So a good start for the Braves offense. They have 3 straight hits. And it's time for our cold hard fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, you like the Braves' chances when they hit a home run So 13-1 when they hit one in a game, at least one homer. And it's weird, they are 6-7 when they don't score first. And I guess you would consider tonight an inning and game in which they did not score first, but they have gotten the lead real fast.
Upton, an infield hit. Freeman, a 2-run homer. Justin Upton, a single up the middle. That brings up Evan Gattis. Braves catcher has 5 hits in his last 12 at bats and 5 runs batted in that stretch.
Just hope that foul tip doesn't do something to slow his bat down. He's been swinging it so well. First 3 guys in the order coming into this game had not done much. You see a lump there, a welt on the arm of Evan Gattis. The bottom part of the order has had pretty good success against Leake. The top 3 had not coming in.
One ball, 1 strike. The man on deck has certainly enjoyed seeing Mike Leake. That's Braves second baseman Dan Uggla. Runner goes. Gattis couldn't stop his swing. He is struck out. And taking second on the ball in the dirt is Justin Upton. That's the second out. Here is Dan Uggla. Last year he really put a pounding on Mike Leake.
Everybody likes hitting the Great American Ballpark. Dan had a heck of a day that day. 3 homers and 10 at-bats in his career against him. And that was a stolen base for Justin Upton too, by the way.
So he's 3 for 3 in that department. Let's see if Dan can make some contact. Slow roller left side. Cozart at short. Throws on the run. And he gets Dan Uggla to retire the side. The Braves parlay 3 consecutive hits into 2 first-inning runs. Hit low, Freddie Freeman's long homer to center field. After 1, 2-1 Braves. Broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world tonight in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. And we welcome you to Braves country tonight.
Glad you're watching.
So David Hale now has a lead. And he's got Neftali Soto in the batter's box. This kid's making his first start as a major leaguer. Quickly finds himself behind 0-2.
This guy's had some good minor league numbers, including a lot of homers, high batting average throughout his minor league career, a 30 home run season in Double-A.
And if you missed the game last night, Soto came on after Todd Frazier left with leg tightness. That's what we were told last evening. Turns out that Frazier's been battling a left groin problem for the last several days. The Reds don't want to lose him. That's fouled past first. It's still 2-2.
I'm not going to say that this is a general rule, but a lot of times teams that are so-called small market teams like Cincinnati, as far as depth is concerned on their team, they may not have that proven major league backup guy. So they rely on someone like Soto, who's ready to play in the big leagues. Just doesn't have enough time in yet to be considered, that automatic utility backup guy, but he's ready. And he may not be a household name, but he's a good quality player to have ready to play and fill in for Frazier at this time.
And that's got to be a tough job for him, being a regular player with all those very impressive numbers in the minor leagues, but no place to play once he gets to the big leagues, barring injury like the Reds are facing now.
Yeah, but it's a perfect situation for him to prove that he's ready, that he is the guy.
Zach Cozart hitting 147, jumps at the first pitch and flies out to center. 2 outs.
And I don't mean that he'll take Todd Frazier's place just by stepping in during this time. I just mean it allows, if he proves that he can handle big league pitching, even with a 250 average, a 1 for 4 while he's in there, at least it'll give them some flexibility if they decide to make some moves somewhere along the way.
So 2 outs ordinarily you'd say in the National League, okay, you've got the pitcher up. Not the case, as Joe said, with Mike Leake. He's led National League pitchers in batting average twice in his big league career. And there's a sign of respect. Breaking ball with the first pitch.
60 career hits, the most in baseball in the last 2 or 3 years. This time last year, the Braves were playing the Reds, and their starting pitching was having a few problems, including Mike Leake, and he was pitching against Atlanta in Cincinnati for his job. They were about to send him back to AAA if he didn't pitch well, and he had a pretty good game. This was on Jackie Robinson Day against the Pirates. His first homer of the year, and probably not his last.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Hale struck him out. Shutdown inning for David. He needed that. The Braves maintain their lead. Chris Johnson starts things off when we come back.
AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
2-1 Atlanta. Braves are up for their second inning of work against the Reds. Great to see the men and women of our military at the ballpark. Again, it's Military Family Night here at Turner Field. The Braves will celebrate Atlanta's rich diversity with the second annual Heritage Weekend, May 2nd through the 4th. The Braves will take on the Giants. There are other great events during that series, including the Champions Luncheon benefiting the Center for Civil and Human Rights and a tribute to the Negro Leagues. Visit braves.com/heritage for more details. Told you about Dan Uggla's good work against Mike Leake. Chris Johnson's had some good luck too. Let's see if that continues tonight.
Chris could use a little good luck. He's won for his last 13.
And lots of strikeouts. This is up to 23 strikeouts for the Braves so far this year.
When he's going really well and shooting that ball to right field, he's letting the ball travel a little deeper. But when he gets in these spurts, he's trying to get out there a little quick.
In the air to center, Hamilton comes in. He'll get there. And Johnson flies out for out number 1. The reason that strikeout total is alarmingly high for Chris. He struck out 116 times in 142 games last season. Here's a man that seldom strikes out. Brave shortstop Andrelton Simmons. 3 strikeouts in 77 at bats. He's riding a 4-game hit streak. 5 hits in that stretch.
He uses an ash bat as opposed to maple. Just looking at it today, it's not that one. That's his gamer, but his batting practice bat.
To the right side and through for Simmons with 1 out.
34-inch, 31.5 ounce. And the what I guess is lacquer, the varnish on it is really heavy, thick. Makes for a pretty bat. And with a high slider up and away, that was tailor-made to beat the shift that they had on for him.
So let's see if Hale can move him along. Braves pitching staff was working on bunting yesterday. They worked on it again today. And frankly, they need to. They have not bunted well in the first 3 weeks.
He's either blinking or he's not tracking the baseball to the bat. He's definitely not getting the bat out there far enough.
And Hale can't get the bunt down.
He didn't make contact, Chip. He did not make contact. That ball went right through and actually bounced off of Brian Pena.
The Braves starting pitchers have 25 strikeouts, Joe, and 3 sacrifices. So Leake has his 3rd strikeout. And we go back to the top of the order in Jason Hayward. He was retired on 3 pitches to start the Braves game offensively.
I know it's the new thing. I even talked to Freddie Gonzalez about when did this come in vogue about not squaring around to bunt, but just kind of dropping your back foot back a little bit, an attempt, and having the bat kind of angled up high. And he said he wasn't sure when it happened, but it was an effort to not expose your body. When you turn around and face the pitcher, you're completely exposed to maybe getting hit by a pitch. And I said, well, so were 100,000 other guys that came before this all occurred, but you can still get out of the way the same way you do another pitch. But at least the bat is out front. It's at the top of the strike zone. And for a guy who's struggling as mightily as David Hale is at bunting, that's where I would go. I would force him to completely square around and have both shoulders facing the pitcher to try to get him going.
Let's see if Hayward has a 3-0 green light with 2 outs. 3 balls and a strike. Well, we've seen it cost the Braves, and Alex Wood in particular, a chance to win a game in Philadelphia. That 1-0 game at Citizens Bank Park was decided by the Phillies' ability to bunt, and Alex wasn't able to get a bunt down. And in the National League, in close games, and the Braves have played a lot of them, that bunt play is a hugely important sequence.
No question. Best way of all to help yourself. That was a good cutter, by the way, from Leake. 89. Came back to the outside corner.
Simmons runs, full count pitch, and Hayward pops it out of play. .32 pitches for Leake. Again, Simmons leads, and there he goes. And Hayward rolls to the right side. Votto flips to the pitcher covering, and he wins the race to the bag. The run's a hit, a man left. Off we go to the 3rd inning. Top of the order for the Reds, who trail by a run.
Night at Turner Field as the Braves honor military families, and today the Braves welcomed Gold Star families on the field before the game. Now the families wear a Gold Star pin in honor and memory of their loved ones who paid the ultimate sacrifice while in service to our nation. Fox Sports Supports is proud to recognize the Army's Gold Star Pin campaign, which honors these families. To learn more about the Gold Star Pins, please visit goldstarpins.org. Very touching ceremony, guys, before the game tonight.
You're right, Jen, and that's a great website. I encourage everybody to check it out, goldpins.org.
Billy Hamilton for the Reds, and he takes a strike.
Great history of the pins and how they came to be.
In the air to center. That's how you want Hamilton to hit the ball. So he can't use his legs. Upton hardly had to move in center. And Hamilton's 0 for 2 tonight. Hale sent down his last 5 Reds in a row.
Yeah, on the pitching side of things for David, the second inning was Really just what the doctor ordered. Some quick outs, quick inning, 1, 2, 3. Save himself some pitches as he gets deeper in the ball game.
Votto bounced out to first. Again, I mentioned it earlier tonight. I encourage you to go to that ESPN article talking about how the Braves defense is really helping them off to this 15-7 start this year. And while I'm not exactly sure how they calculate defensive runs saved, what metric they use to do that, according to this article, the Braves have saved 20 runs this year with their defense, and that's the most of any other team in the major leagues. What was really impressive about the article was we're used to seeing Anderson Simmons save runs at shortstop. 19 of the 20 runs have been saved by the Braves outfielders. Jason Hayward has accounted for 10 of those 19.
Jason's been outstanding out there defensively. He's caught everything, and another great throw last night that saved a run. BJ's defense in center field is already, in my opinion, better than what we saw last year from him. He's tracking everything.
Sharply hit. Freeman with a backhand stab, and the race to the bag is won by the Braves first baseman. 2 out. But the other thing that I thought was so interesting about this article was Atlanta's pitching staff's ground ball rate is only about 43% of all outs. That's the 6th lowest ground ball rate.
6th worst?
6th, well,
if you want to call it that.
Yeah, in
okay.
baseball. So, point being, guys like Hale and Harang and Santana are utilizing their outfield to great advantage, especially in the big ballparks that the Braves have played in the early weeks of the season.
Yeah, that stands to reason. We've talked about that a little bit, especially with Aaron Harang in New York, utilizing that big yard to center.
So here's Phillips. He singled on a 2-2 count and scored on Ludwig's double off the fence. And pops one up in foul ground. You heard Phillips say, "Oh," after that pitch was made. Hale gets him on 8 pitches. 3 up, 3 down. He set down 7 straight, leads by a run. People, and that fine man manning our center field cameras, our dear pal Wayne Barry, and that young man is his stepson, Specialist Will Clark, with the Big Red, the 1st Infantry out of Fort Riley, Kansas. And Wayne is thinking about Will today, as we all are, on Military Family Night. So
Here,
Will,
here. That's great.
Will, we thank you for your service, and Wayne, know how proud you are of your boy, and we are so thankful to you as well. Hit number 1,000 for B.J. Upton. His last time up, and he scored ahead of Freddie's homer. And Leake missed high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he takes strike 3 call. Leake tied him up inside and led her high, and Upton not sure about that.
I don't remember when I've seen so many front door breaking balls to, in this case, right-handed hitters as I've seen already this month. Might have been a cutter on second look on the replay.
Well, if the split finger pitch was the pitch of the 80s and the slider was the pitch of the 90s and 2000s, I guess the cutter is the pitch of this decade.
No question.
Mariano Rivera rode that pitch to a remarkable career with the Yankees, and eventually he'll take it to Cooperstown. Now Freeman hits it a mile high the other way. Ludwig going back onto the warning track at the 380 sign, leaps, and he hauls it in for out number 2.
I've always liked Ryan Ludwig. He's never been one of those outstanding Gold Glove type outfielders, but he always plays hard. Whether he's running the bases or he's giving you a tough at bat. And watch this perfectly timed jump to take a home run away from Freddie. Nice play.
I think that's payback for Jason Nix and Brooks Conrad a couple years ago.
Maybe.
So a long, loud out off the bat of Freeman. Here's Justin Upton. He singled on an 0-2 pitch. 1-0 the count. Another kind month of April for the Braves left fielder. 6 homers and 15 RBIs again. And a launch job to center. Hamilton going back. He's going to wave goodbye. That one's way out of here.
Freeman launched a real high pitch for his homer, and typically Justin is not a high ball pitcher, and that was not a high pitch. That was right in his wheelhouse. That had to be about 430.
So anything you can do, I can do better for Freeman and Justin Upton. His 7th long ball of the year. And Atlanta extends the lead to 3-1 in the 3rd.
Temperature's warming up. The ball's jumping.
"12 homers last April for Upton, 7 now in 2014. Now Gaddis drives one to left. Ludwig back. Warning track. Whoa! That one's gonna go.
Last night they did that to Evan. They kept hooking him and throwing sliders down and away. And then the one time they decide not to do that or make a mistake, he got a base hit. Tonight, he makes him pay with a long ball. Looked like a hanger. Brian Pena was set up outside, and it stayed inner half. Number 6 for Evan. Forearm looks okay.
29 homers for this Braves ball club. They could have had a 30th had Ludwig not brought Freeman's ball back and left. The Reds appealed because they thought Gaddis missed the plate.
Oh, heavens.
And now Brian Price is going to come out and talk to Vic Carapazza about that. Did he?
Well, if he did, the home plate umpire, Vic Carapazza, was looking right down at his foot on the plate. Granted, it hit the front edge. That would have been a first for me. Never seen anybody miss the plate when they were trotting home.
So back-to-back homers. Here's Ugla, and he takes a little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. To short, Kozart errorless at short this year. He made a fine play to retire the side. Upton and Gaddis hit back-to-back homers, 3 round trippers for the Braves tonight, and a 4-1 lead. In our booth, and all of a sudden the bats start bombing away in Atlanta, Georgia.
He's our good luck totem. I told him today that I was really kind of amazed to see him back here today, because we don't often let a guy come back a second day.
Only if they win.
Yeah.
And so far so good. Matty's doing a great job on the Braves live set. He'll be with Jerome after the ball game tonight. And hopefully we'll have another Braves victory to talk about as Atlanta's trying to chase down their 7th series win in 8 tries this year. Now David Hale leads by 3 runs. He's set down the last 7 in a row. He's got Bruce, Ludwig, and Pena coming up. Don't know if this will be David's last start in rotation for the Braves for a while. Mike Minor is scheduled to come back any time now for Atlanta. No official date has been given yet for Minor's return from his injury rehab assignment. But what a luxury for Freddie Gonzalez and Roger McDowell, with the job that Santana and Hale and Harang and Wood and Tehran have done. Braves have really had the luxury of allowing Minor and Gavin Floyd to make 5-6 rehab starts in the minor leagues.
They've been phenomenal. And what if Gavin Floyd was ready to come back too? I mean, if Minor comes back and you've got to take one guy out of the rotation, okay, that's tough enough. But to take 2, who's the other guy?
That's not what David Hale wanted. A leadoff walk to start the Cincinnati fourth, and here are the numbers on Mike Minor and Gavin Floyd in their 5 rehab assignments.
Yeah, I don't pay too much attention to the wins and losses for Gavin because a lot of those were very short stints leading up as he built up his innings. Mike Minor last night went 7 and got knocked around, gave up 4 homers and 10 hits. That is significant.
Ludwig nearly homered his first time, and he took a strike. He now has 10 runs batted in. He's the man that brought home Phillips in the first. Braves did have a transaction made today. If you missed it, Ernesto Mejia, the big right-hand hitting first baseman who was slugging almost a homer a day, it seemed, down at AAA, was released by the ball club today, not because of any dissatisfaction with his performance, but he has a chance to go over to Japan and play for the Seibu Lions over the Japanese league. So he'll make his way to Japan and start playing over there sometime next week.
I think he'll do great over there, and I bet he comes back here shortly.
To center and right at Upton. BJ to his left makes the play. Bruce back to first. There's the first out.
Jay Bruce at first base, I was just looking at his numbers. I mean, I think of him as a free swinger, and he does strike out a lot. Only Brandon Phillips has struck out more than Bruce so far this year on their team. But tonight he's walked twice. That's 17 walks, and that's only 2 behind Votto, who walks all the time. He's got a great on base percentage. Bruce coming in, it was .358. He's improved on that tonight. So yeah, he's a power hitter and free swinger, but he's got a good eye too.
Strike 1 to Brian Pena. Pena looks to get some extended playing time, what with Mesoraco going on the disabled list. He hurt his hamstring rounding third and scoring last night.
I don't remember this when Brian played for the Braves, but just in that close up there, he had a slightly split grip, left-handed. Just slight.
What does that do? Split grip.
If it's widely split, it really emphasizes the top hand. His is not that much.
Good stop by Gaddis, evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Foul back out of play. Losing Mesoraco is a big loss for the Cincinnati ball club. At one point, an 11-game hitting streak for the Reds catcher, and was hitting near 500 for them.
You could see the frustration on his reaction when he got to home plate last night after a horrible trip between third and home, and he knew how bad it was. Of course he did. I mean, he was in great pain.
But his misfortune's an opportunity for Pena.
And he knew the play was still going on. And to his credit, somehow found his way to the plate.
Sharply hit to Simmons at short. Ugla the turn. Catcher running and a double play ball. Hale pitches around a leadoff walk. Atlanta 4, Reds 1. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day with Joe Simpson and Jen Hildreth. Chip Carey with you from Turner Field as we host the Reds for the first time in this weekend series. The AT&T Uverse trivia question is that Joey Votto recorded 177 hits last year. Who was the last Red player to have a 200 hit season?
Yikes. Hal Morris. Didn't he win a batting title with him? Guy with the happy feet in the batter's box. He never stood still.
Barry Larkin.
Larkin won a title too.
Pete Rose. Surely someone did it before Pete Rose, didn't they? Ken Griffey Jr. He was a Red.
I don't know if he was ever healthy enough to get a full season in to have a chance to have 200.
One ball, one strike for Chris Johnson, who laces one over short. That's going to fall in for the 7th Atlanta hit of the game. So Chris with a big turn at first will stop there. The ball got away, but no further advance.
Let's take a look at this swing to see where this pitch was out over the plate. But the difference in his swing last night when he's been struggling a little bit lately, 1 for 13, and when he was struggling earlier in the season, was that he was getting the bat out there and kind of going out around the ball, unlike his usual inside out swing, which I think was pretty prevalent there.
Andrelton singled to right his first time up. His ball didn't dribble through the right side of the infield. It was pretty sharply hit. So he's got a 5-game hitting streak working. A chance to add to the lead here. Inside ball 2. Double play ball to Phillips. Cozart glides across the bag in a nice turn. 2 outs for David Hale. Leak needed that.
Yeah, and those two guys up the middle pretty snazzy for the Reds also. Cozart, a very underrated defensive shortstop in the league.
And Brandon Phillips, a 4-time Gold Glove winner. So Hale can swing away here with 2 outs. Braves start play tonight, 2.5 games in front of the Mets in the National League East. New York is winning again. They're beating the Marlins. Washington shut out San Diego. Cozart plays that one to the side and makes the pick first. On we go to the 5th inning. It's 4-1 Atlanta in game 2.
Authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
It's a little hard to broadcast when you're crying. Wow.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Sorry about that, folks. That is Staff Sergeant Mark Wilkes, stationed in Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. He was just reunited with his wife and 2 children. She and the kids didn't know he was going to be here tonight.
They did a whole special on the family on the big screen before the game about the hardships and difficulties of being separated, raising children, and all that's inherent in that. And little did she know. What a wonderful thing.
I think I said it last year, may have said it the year before too. Our crew gets so many great camera shots of what happens on the field. That is my favorite shot. The handshakes and the salutes and the hugs and the pats on the back and just the common decency to say thank you that the great fans in Atlanta offer the men and women of our military on the hometown hero feature at this ballpark. Awesome.
Yeah, it is. What's the score?
Yeah. Let's just show that for the next 45 minutes. That was great. Wonderful job. As David Hale goes back to work here in the 5th inning. Neftali Soto, Zach Cozart, and Mike Leake are coming up. Bouncer out to second, and Ugla puts the squeeze on that. That's out number 1. Soto's 0 for 2.
Pitch count way ahead of where he's been in recent starts. And remember that last start at New York, in his defense, he had gone 10 days. They skipped him in the rotation once. And he threw 103 pitches in 6 innings. So he was a little bit rusty. Tonight he's at 61 pitches here with 1 out in the 5th.
Popped up. Wonder if the Reds are a little concerned about Cozart's bat. He's a guy that hit 250 for him last year. He's struggling to hit 140 so far in the first month of this season for Cincinnati. You're right, he hasn't made any errors, but he's not getting many hits either. He's 0 for 2 again tonight.
Well, his offense can lag because of his defense as long as they're scoring runs and everybody else is doing the job.
Leake is a strikeout victim. He struck out swinging in the second. As Joe said, this guy can really swing the bat. And not just for a pitcher, but as a major league hitter. To short, Simmons. Tricky hop. Handles cleanly, and it's a 6-pitch inning.
And of the 18 batters he's faced, 10 have been in 3 pitches or less.
Here's your Delta Airlines on deck trio for the Braves, who lead by 3. Upton and Gaddis. Upton and Gaddis's were back-to-back. And they lead a tough customer, Mike Leake, in game 2 of the series.
Yeah, Ryan Ludwig has driven in the run for the Reds, and he saved another home run by going up over the wall and bringing Freddie Freeman's would-be second homer of the night back into play.
Fans, follow every Braves game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Braves.com today. Hayward, Upton, and Freeman in the Braves' 5th. You know what? I like this umpire behind the plate, Vic Carapazza.
Yeah, me too.
In the air to center. And Hamilton is under it and makes the play for out number 1. Now look, on this little routine fly ball to the outfield, this umpiring crew did a remarkable job of rotation. Gibson went out to center to make sure it's a clean catch. Bill Miller went to second base in case the ball's dropped, and Carapazza rotated halfway down the line to third, just in case Hamilton had some trouble. We point out how the players hustle all the time. Only fair to point out when the umps do the same.
Well, in this time of night, a good thing that they do in case the ball's lost.
E.J. Upton, before the game yesterday, wasn't talking much about his glasses, was commenting on it after the game last night. He said he felt improvement in his vision. And ground ball right side, smothered by Votto. Pretty play, and leaked to the bag. Got it with his heel. Votto took away a hit, and Upton's out number 2. It's obvious Freeman seeing the ball well. He stung it 3 times last night, and he's hit it a mile twice tonight.
See how they pitch him. The home run he hit was just, Leake probably had to say, are you kidding me? Because it was so high. I don't know how he hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, but in his home ballpark, that would have gone down one of the smokestacks.
Yes, it might have.
On the riverboat in Cincinnati. figure it's going to be a great all-star game voting run for Freeman, for Votto, for Paul Goldschmidt, Brandon Belt of the Giants, whom we'll see soon. As Votto to a knee, and again leaked to the bag, and that will retire the side. All-star voting has begun. Vote early and often for Freddie Freeman as he and the Braves lead after 5. The Braves have hit 3 homers. They lead 4-1 after 5 innings. It's time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. While we have a minute, a couple of folks we'd like to congratulate. First of all, our colleague Carol Rogers, fine Braves beat writer for the AJC.
Yeah.
Announced her engagement tonight to Gus Walton. So, Carol, congratulations to you and Gus. That's wonderful news.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Great news.
And secondly, want to congratulate Randy Engel. He's been a coach in the Braves organization for 23 years. Randy has been elected to the South Atlantic League Hall of Fame. And he'll be inducted in June of this year.
Sally League's been around for a long time. You get inducted into that Hall of Fame, pretty special. So congratulations.
We're thrilled for all those folks tonight. As Billy Hamilton leads off for the 3rd time tonight. He's 0 for 2. And a bouncing ball foul past first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again to second. He and Ugla have played Pepper this entire series. And Dan's retired him now 4 times on ground balls in the first 2 games. And Hamilton is 0 for 3.
He showed bunt there, but it's one of those things we talked about last night, that the bunting game is really not part of his weaponry just yet. He's still working on it. But I foresee him to be one of those guys that, even though you're playing the corners in, anticipating a bunt with his speed, once he figures out how to really bunt, especially to third, it'll be a no contest.
1 ball, no strikes to Votto. He too has pulled the ball twice. Freddie Freeman gobbled it up and outran him to the bag. Votto is, as you know, a terrific player. He is signed through the 2023 season with a club option for 2024. He begins this season 30 years of age.
Did you say 2024?
Yeah. Can you believe that? That just seemed like, 10-year contract extension. So he'll be 40 years old or thereabouts when that deal is done. And this at bat is done. Hale just struck him out. Votto's 0 for 3. He had a big cut, you'll recall, at his first at bat, and walks very slowly and gingerly back to the Reds dugout here.
Well, I wonder if it had something to do that swing in the first inning when his spikes went out from under him.
So 2 quick outs. David Hales held the Reds to 2 hits. Both of those hits were in the first inning. And a fly ball to center. Upton is under it, and he's got it. Another easy inning. This one 10 pitches for Hale. He is rolling along. Braves have played long ball tonight. Upton and then Evan Gattis, back-to-back homers for the Braves. 2 in the first, 2 in the third. And the long ball is our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot.
And again, when the Braves hit a home run in a ball game, they are 9-0. Excuse me, 13-1 when they hit a home run. I was looking at when they score first. They did not score first tonight.
David Hales pitching a beaut. He fell behind early in the first, but he has not allowed a hit since the first. And Upton over Cozart's glove at short. That's 8 Atlanta hits. And Justin a perfect 3 for 3 night.
Kind of muscled that one over short. Lee gave up 8 hits in 7 innings in his last outing against Pittsburgh, but he left the ball game leading the game, and the bullpen blew it after that. He's given up 8 hits tonight, and it doesn't have an out in the 6th inning.
Gattis rolls to short. Cozart to Phillips, and safe at first. How about the slide by Upton? That forced Phillips to do a bunny hop. He couldn't get the throw to first in time to erase Gattis.
Boy, and Leake with a real strong reaction to that. Frustrated they didn't get the double play because it looked like a real simple one. What a slide by Justin to take him out, because Brandon Phillips didn't come all the way across the bag to the third base side. And here's Leake's reaction. Just a clean, straight slide by Justin, but I don't think Brandon expected him to be there that quickly.
So instead of 2 outs, bases empty, it's 1 on, 1 out for Uggla. And he's 0 for 2 in the game with 2 ground outs to short. Mile high fly ball to right. Bruce is there. And there's out number 2. Gaddis back first for Chris Johnson, who singled his last time up. Washington beat San Diego 4-0 today. No Bryce Harper. He hurt his thumb last night on a head-first slide. The thumb was swollen and sore. X-rays were taken. The thumb was not broken, but they'll be very cautious with him. The team the Braves have to worry about nipping at their heels is the suddenly resurgent Mets, who are trying to win their 4th in a row tonight. They're beating the Marlins 5-1. Last night the Mets beat the Marlins with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Curtis Granderson had the game-winning hit, and that broke the 33 saves in a row streak by Steve Cishek of the Marlins.
That was quite a rally. Winning hit came with 2 outs. Granderson's hitting like 120, 130, something like that.
Some awful run for Granderson, as the Mets have gotten some mileage out of Bobby Abreu in the outfield. They brought him back up from the minors. Johnson broke his bat and drives this ball toward left. Ludwig shot of the track is there, and that retires the side. So maybe Terry Collins isn't crazy. Maybe the Mets can get to 90 wins, but they got to catch the Braves first. It's all Braves tonight in Game 2 of the series. Special thanks to our friends at Delta Airlines. They're proud sponsors of the Braves. And we can't wait to see Mac Honey and the gang on the charter tomorrow afternoon. After this series concludes, we'll head down to Miami. Off day on Monday. And then we have a brief 3-game homestand, or 3-game road trip, I should say, with the Marlins before we come back for a nice long homestand with the Giants, Cardinals, and Cubs.
So one of the highlights of every road trip is seeing Mac Honey.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah.
Highlight tonight is a performance by David Hale for the ages. It may be overshadowed by the 3 homers, but man, oh man, he's held these guys to 2 hits and none since the first inning tonight.
Thanks to a double play in the 4th inning, he's faced the minimum number of batters after the first inning.
Let's check out his outs distribution. That's our Home Depot tools from the dugout.
10 big ground outs. That's big. I don't see him max efforting a lot of pitches tonight. Maybe he was in the first inning, and especially in the pitch to Phillips that got the inning started with 2 outs was that mistake down the middle, maybe overthrowing a little bit. But since then he's been nice and smooth and calm and collected, and you got to like those pitch counts.
Yeah, you jumped all over that in the first inning when he threw 22 pitches. And that was a problem for David early in the season. He gets 100 pitches in the blink of an eye and have to come out of the game.
Well, that was one of his Ford keys, quicker innings. He's done that tonight.
Lined over first and hooked foul by Jay Bruce. This is the man David would like to get. He's walked him twice so far tonight. And again foul. 2-2. Strike him out.
Took a little off. .81-mile-an-hour breaking pitch. Never was a strike. Just got Bruce to chase it. Well done.
Here's Ludwig. How different might this game be had his second inning, or excuse me, his first inning scud missile gone over the fence instead of hitting high off of it. Go. Yes, he did. 0-2.
Reared back and fogged that one, didn't he? Tried to waste a pitch with a good fastball and just missed outside, but couldn't get him to chase it.
Swing and a miss by Ludwig. Boy, you could just see Hale oozing with confidence right now as he's just mowing down these Reds hitters.
Yeah, and he's just changing speeds on his slider. That's almost the identical pitch he threw Jay Bruce. Put a little on, take a little off. Love it.
Low ball 2. to second. Uggla to his right and to an E. Gets his man. David Hale is dealing. He sends this game to the stretch with the Braves up 4-1. Crowd tonight in Atlanta, and they saw a remarkable SunTrust shining moment. The reunion of the Wilkes family. Staff Sergeant Mark Wilkes back from Afghanistan. Mandy, Emma, and Jet Wilkes didn't know Dad was coming home, and it brought down the house. And a game filled with highlights between the white lines. That's the highlight for me tonight, Jen.
Well, it was an incredible moment, Chip, and now here they are enjoying the 7th inning stretch, as long as I'm not interrupting it. What was that reunion like for you to come home and see your family here at Turner Field?
Oh, it was very, very exciting. Words can't describe it.
Emma, were you excited to see Daddy? How long had you been away?
Only 4 months this time. The first time it was about 7.
Oh, wow. Okay, and Mandy, I have to ask, were you really surprised?
I was really surprised, yeah. It kind of threw me off after the video. I thought that was it until he mentioned a surprise.
Pretty good surprise?
Yes, I was very surprised.
And I have to tell you guys, this is great. You know, you go, you do your duty. He comes back home, what, about 30 minutes, and you had to go do another duty, change a diaper, right?
Correct. Change a diaper. That's one I don't mind.
Well, just lastly, guys, we'll let you enjoy the rest of the game. How special is this to be able to have this moment with your family here at Turner Field?
Oh, I'm excited about it. It's very special. I've never had anything like this happen before, so it's different.
Well, you guys enjoy the rest of the game. I'm going to get out of the way so they can reunite here. Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Jen. And welcome home, Staff Sergeant Wilkes. And again, we thank you and all the other members of our military here today for your service.
It's a great night. Boy, in a packed house. A wonderful thing. That's a great story. Get home big reunion and immediately have to change a diaper.
Talk about tough duty. Fly ball to right. Bruce is back, shy of the track. He's got it. And Simmons puts it in play again. He's retired for out number 1. David Hale ought to get a big cheer. He's firing a 2-hitter at the Reds tonight.
Lake's given up at least 1 hit in every inning except the 5th.
Coming into tonight's play, Leake had given up 3 homers to the Braves. He's given up 3 tonight. A high throw from third. But Soto's throw is handled by Joey Votto for out number 2. And with 2 outs in the 7th, here's our Subway box score.
Not only that, Chip, he'd given up 3 home runs in his first 4 starts total. And then 3 tonight, as you see. 8 hits total.
Leake's spot is due 3rd in the 8th. So this figures to be his last inning of work with Cincinnati down 3 runs.
They've got a left-hander and a right-hander loosening.
That's outside. The Reds getting some good news today. Aroldis Chapman threw another bullpen session, or BP session, I guess you'd call it. Jen reported on that during Braves Live. That'll be a welcome return for Brian Price in the Cincinnati Ball Club. Leake takes care of Jason Hayward at first, and this game moves to the 8th with Atlanta in front 4-1. A launch job to center. Hamilton going back. Now Gaddis drives one to left. Ludwig back. Warning track. Whoa, that one's gonna go. That is one strong hombre. The Braves riding Evan Gaddis, Freddie Freeman, and Justin Upton homers to a 4-1 lead.
Hey folks, don't forget about the new Braves program that just came out too. This is really cool because they've got a lot of neat photos of the players that are a little different, like this superimposed Evan Gattis in a catcher's mask. There's a whole bunch of neat ones in there, and this is brand new. You can get it at the ballpark, of course, in the clubhouse store, and if you can't make it to the ballpark, at Braves.com/authentics. But Freddie Freeman on the cover, and it's a thick program, boy. A lot of good stuff in there about the team.
You know, David Letterman's retiring. You did an outstanding job of putting that program up on the monitor like Letterman and Leno and Fallon do.
Well, think how good it would have been if Freddie Freeman had a CD that I could show everybody.
Right. A lot easier to balance on the TV monitor. As Soto grounds to short, and Simmons gets his man for out number 1. That's 11 up, 11 down for David Hale tonight. Again, don't know if this is David's last start in rotation for a while. That will be determined by the decision the Braves have to make with Mike Minor. But what you have to respect about David Hale tonight is he's making whatever decision has to be made as difficult as possible.
Gotta like that. Plus the off day on Monday, that will somehow factor into it also. But Freddie Gonzalez has said many times, and as recently as the spring training, just when you think you've got enough pitching, plenty of pitching, things happen that make you realize you don't, or it really thins your core. I know there are a lot of teams out there already. We're not even through the first month of the season. There are a lot of teams that would like to have the depth the Atlanta Braves have.
And who would have thought that would be the case after that horrific back-to-back 48 hours in Orlando?
Not me. Not then. I thought, uh-oh, big trouble.
Again, foul by Cozart. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Look at you. You've already sold the program.
Yeah, well, all it takes is just a little bit of promotion. She's already reading up to find out who's single. Or did she have a ring on? I don't know. Did she have a wedding ring on?
Well, either way.
Yeah.
1-2 for Cozart.
Oh, yeah. See, I was wrong.
In the air to center. And Cozart's rough series continues. That's 12 in a row for David Hale. Celebrate Sundays at the ballpark with your family. Take part in great activities like the Alumni Sunday autograph sessions. Kids run the bases and more. Save 38% off your tickets only at Braves.com/Sunday. And speaking of Sunday, man, oh man, do we have a great pitching matchup in store tomorrow. We wrap up the series with the Reds with Julio Teheran and Johnny Cueto.
Figures to be some fast innings in that one too. Roger Bernardina pinch hit last night and got a hit off of Craig Kimbrell to start the 9th inning.
And I shortchanged David on his streak. He has retired 13 in a row, not 12 in a row. I beg your pardon.
And 20 of the last 21.
One and one for Bernardina. And a swing and a miss. Boy, the Reds have chased that pitch all night tonight.
They have. It's been a great off-speed pitch. His fastball just prior to that, though, 91 on the black. Great pitch. Hasn't lost anything velocity-wise. And that's because he's just now gone over 100 pitches.
Slow roller right side. A glove flick. Got his man. And David Hale Ball is having himself a night. He's through 8 innings with a big lead in Atlanta. It's a 4-1 score.
Toyota, and AT&T.
Last of the 8th, 4-1 Braves leading the Reds. It's AT&T fan photo of the game time. Tweet your photo to hashtag #SouthFanPhoto for a shot at being shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T.
Tony Wood. Looks like he was doing some visiting down in Orlando when that was taken.
Now the Braves will feast their eyes on left-hander Manny Parra. He's had a rough road trip for the Reds. A blown save in 3 games and 3 earned runs, including a home run. Another veteran guy who's tried to cover up the absence of Aroldis Chapman at the back of the Reds bullpen.
Yeah, he got his first big league save against the Mets back on April 6th. But it was Leake's game at Pittsburgh that he wound up getting the blown save. Pitched great for them down the stretch last year. And they were fighting for a postseason berth. He had a 1.78 ERA in his last 45 appearances. Fastball in the low 90s. Big curveball and a split.
Good news in New York. The Marlins have come charging back. They now lead the Mets 6-5. Always wonder if maybe Giancarlo Stanton did something big for the Marlins with a quick strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ryan Pena wanted that strike. He'd set up inside, got the pitch there, but didn't get the call.
I think that was a strike in the 3rd inning when Upton was called out, but not here in the 8th. Didn't matter. Upton swings and misses. He is out number 1. And mentioned earlier, Aroldis Chapman is beginning his comeback for the Reds.
And this was earlier today here at Turner Field. Doing some batting practice. Really a simulated game to 3 or 4 of his teammates without a screen.
So how much work did Chapman get in, Jen?
Well, he got in 43 pitches, Chip, and that work without a screen, they were saying really a big step in his progress. They said he's doing great. The next step will be to have one more simulated game. They expect him to do that throwing again Tuesday in Cincinnati. If that feels good, then they'll begin looking at some rehab outings for him. So all looking good for Chapman getting back out there.
And that was one of the scariest sights this spring training. All the talk about Tommy John surgeries and all the pitchers getting hurt that way. Chapman was hit in the face on March 19th against the Royals. Fractures of the eye and nose and a mild concussion. A 3-inch plate and 12 screws to stabilize the bones around his left eye. And Freeman, a line drive that's speared by Soto at third. Another sharply hit ball, but out number 2.
It's weird. Freddie's 1 for 4 tonight, and he's hit 3 rockets.
Here's Upton. He's got a perfect night working. 2 singles and a solo home run. That's bumped his average up to .321. Upton went. 2 balls and a strike.
That 3 for 3 night tonight has just padded some really good numbers at Turner Field this year in 11 games. 486 average, his home run, his 6th, and 12 RBIs. So 6 of his 7 homers have been hit here.
He can do some damage now with a 3-1 count. And he took one tomahawk high. Full count now. And Upton takes a walk. It comes with 2 outs in the 8th inning. And Evan Gattis will be the hitter. Let's revisit our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Joey Votto was the subject tonight. He had 177 hits last year. Name the last Red with a 200-hit season.
I liked your Larkin pick, but I'm going to go outside the box and go with Hal Morris.
I'm going to go Pete Rose.
Okay.
More hits than anybody in the game.
Way to go.
Pete Rose, 1977, with 204 of them. Parra's evening is over. 2 outs and a base on balls. Gattis stands in with the Braves up 4-1. Big crowd tonight of over 33,000 have watched the Braves play long ball against the Reds tonight. They lead 4-1. Atlanta continues to hit here in the 8th inning. Friends, the Braves Summer Concert Series presented by Coca-Cola and Delta kicks off during Heritage Weekend, Saturday, May 3rd. We'll have a free post-game show by Kool and the Gang. You can even buy a field pass for the show for just $25. Go to Braves.com/concerts today. We'll wrap up the series here tomorrow afternoon, a 1:35 first pitch. And if you like good, hard-throwing right-handers, you're going to love the wrap-up of this series.
Yeah, Johnny Cueto coming off an outstanding start his last time out. He's pitching good baseball. You already know how great Julio's been here at the beginning of the season, so an excellent matchup.
Will the Braves be going for a sweep or merely a series win? They're in good position to go for the sweep, leading 4-1 here in the 8th. As Nick Christiani is on again for the Reds. We saw him in the 8th inning last night.
And he was sharp. He retired all 3 hitters he faced, including Evan Gattis, who lined to right. He is normally a hard sinker slider guy.
That pitch at 93, but low. 1 ball, no strikes. By the way, Giancarlo Stanton did hit a home run for the Marlins in that game in New York. 6-5 Fish. Bouncing ball to Cozart. Zach has it. The flip to Phillips in time. And that will retire the side. 4-1 Atlanta as we head to inning number 9. Top of the order coming up for the Reds.
Down those steps through that gate.
And he'll try to protect a 4-1 lead before a crowd of 33,702 tonight. And he's got the top of the Cincinnati order coming up. Hamilton, Votto, and Brandon Phillips. He's 7 out of 8 in saves. And Craig picked up number 7 last night. 2 strikeouts, a hit, and a walk.
He'd like to have an outing like he had on the 23rd against Miami when he had a clean inning and struck out 2 and looked like Craig Kimbrell. But 3 of the last 4 outings he has had a lot of trouble to work around, including last night with a hit and a walk to start the inning, and was able to get out of it thanks to an outstanding play at first base to end the game by Freddie Freeman.
So I'm with you. Let's have a clean inning. Let's have no review of the last out. And let's get it started by retiring Hamilton. He's perhaps the key to the entire inning. 0 for 3 as he couple of ground outs to second. And Kimbrel a strike over the outside corner.
Hale had retired 14 in a row and 21 of his last 22.
There's a strike to Hamilton. It's 0-2.
Now, even though that pretty much takes the bunt away, well, he's backing up now. Chris was still playing tight, and he still is. He doesn't want to play too deep with this guy's speed.
And fouled away. Milestone for Kimbrel accomplished last night. It's a man that averages well over a strikeout per inning pitched in his big league career. He got Pena and Heisey last night. And he's a strike away from getting Billy Hamilton to start the 9th tonight.
Aired that one out at 98.
A little tapper back to the mound. Kimbrel's got it, and a seed to first gets Hamilton. Here's our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. It's the fastest to 400 strikeouts.
And he's got a nice cushion. Billy Wagner, the fastest at 257 2/3.
And how apropos is that? Billy Wagner was so instrumental in the development of not only Craig Kimbrel but Johnny Venters and Eric O'Flaherty as major league relief pitchers. The season Billy Wagner had with the Braves was remarkable, not just for what he did on the field but what he did in mentoring those guys in the bullpen,
including Craig Kimbrel.
Joey Votto 0 for 3 tonight and took the breaking ball low. That paint to the outside corner. It's 2-2.
Got good stuff tonight.
.97 miles an hour and off the knuckles of Joey Votto. Brandon Phillips and Jay Bruce to follow for Cincinnati in the 9th.
Votto made the last out of the game last night. Didn't have to face Phillips. It was Votto that hit that bouncer to Johnson.
You'd like to have Kimbrel, as you said, have a clean inning, but a low pitch inning too. day game tomorrow. And you figure with Cueto and Tehran might be another close game. With Kimbrel having the shoulder issues in the first weeks of the season, would Freddie Gonzalez consider using him 3 days in a row, even with an off day on Monday?
And it goes to pitch count.
And Votto's driving it up. This will be number 15 of the inning. And Votto took one, an eyelash outside, I suppose. Kimbrel thought he made a strikeout pitch, but Votto's aboard with one out.
Fox track shows it stayed outside. Good call by Carapazza. 15 pitches last night, despite the fact that he faced 5 guys, walked 1, struck out 2. Pretty good work against everybody else. Quick work against everybody else. Already 15 pitches tonight.
Well, a ground ball at somebody could end the game. Let's see if Phillips obliges. He has one of the 2 Cincinnati hits. He was all over that pitch and fouled it straight back.
Phillips 1 for 1 in his career against him. He's tough enough. The guy on deck scares me too if Phillips were to reach. That's Jay Bruce.
Braves pitchers had retired 15 straight Reds before the Votto walk. And now Phillips misses the breaking ball. There's out number 2.
The great equalizer. When this pitch is on, it's impossible for right-handers to respect the fastball and still cover that. Do it just far enough off the plate, he had no chance to reach it.
So Jay Bruce. Votto will take off. And Bruce didn't get the breaking ball. No stolen base. Defensive indifference moves Votto to second base. You bet. 0-2. Standing O for Kimbrel, who's 1 strike away. And he blew it away. The Braves knock off the Reds and hold them to 2 hits. Atlanta wins another series. Tonight's final score: Braves 4, Reds 1. Atlanta hits 3 homers. And let's hope that doesn't overshadow a magnificent start by David Hale, who earns his first win in 2014.